Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Supreme Being. I'm your host, BC. Welcome back, y'all. The biggest obstacle on this planet is ... I'm going to give you guys a second right now as you're listening, and I'm pouring myself a magnificent, superb, exquisite mate. I'm going to give you guys a second. What do you think the biggest obstacle is on this planet, right? It could be for you. It could be for people in general. I'm going to give you a second to answer that, okay? Who or what do you think it is? All right. Could be more than one thing. I don't know. Throw some things out there because I have the answer for you and I'll give it to you right now in a couple seconds. Okay. It's you. It's the person, the individual staring back at you when you look into the mirror. Now, I could give you a million examples and I'll give you some in this podcast. But the moment you can finally observe that, the moment you can finally come to terms with that, and the moment you finally accept that, things begin to change. Does that mean that every issue all the time is us? Not necessarily. But it now puts you in a position where you officially make sure that systematically every single thing that you do, every decision that you make, you're being absolutely certain that you're not getting in your own way. Because in most cases, we do. Okay. I talk to people all the time. Hey, Brian, I want to join your team. Hey, Brian, I want to get on your coaching. And we'll have conversations about it, right? Now, regardless if somebody signs up or not, when we get past the surface level of money, time, focus, or whatever it is, through the questions and the self-analysis, I get the person to admit that they're getting in their own way, not to just admit it, but to finally see it themselves, to have the awareness to say, man, I'm getting in my own way. And in most cases, you're getting in your own damn way. Oh man, it's tough for me. Like, I give you the blueprint and I say something like wake up early. And then I hear all the excuses. Well, this person doesn't wake up early, or I don't have to do it. Well, I want to do everything but that. Dude, you're getting in your own fucking way. Stop. Why? Man, this shit is just unreal. And again, a lot of people will always kind of boil this down or bring it back to like comparing this stuff to like financial gain. And that's only one component here. There's so much more to it than just finances, right? So I don't want you to dilute it and think we're only talking about finances here, because we're not. We're talking about a bunch of stuff. This could be your personal evolution, right? This could be a million different things. But you get in your own way. You're the biggest obstacle, right? You lacking self-belief, you're getting in your own way, right? You're given like the set of tools and you don't really apply or believe it. Dude, that's you getting in your own way. It's not where you're from, what language you speak, neighborhood you grew up in, all the other stuff we talk about when it comes to, well, I'm an introvert and I can't be a good speaker, blah, blah, blah. I mean, again, I don't have to give you guys a million examples because you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'll give you some personal stories and examples that I think are relatable that will help you in your understanding and duplication of this information, meaning you're able to fully understand it, right? But ask yourself right now as you're listening, where am I saying something else, but I'm really just getting in my own way? I want you to start acknowledging that to yourself, right? Think about that. Guarantee you a few things come to mind, right? Like when it comes to the expansion of my companies, I'm getting in my own way. I could maybe be doing an extra webinar to promote it, maybe getting a little bit more involved in the planning of other people in regards to like the events, even though I leave it up mostly to them. I could do a little bit more. Like, when I look at it, yeah, I'm doing a damn good job, but there's always something that can be improved upon or adjusted for sure. So to that degree, I'm getting in my own damn way, even of the expansion of my coaching, right? Because for the longest, right, I've scaled my coaching business to where unless you're joining a particular tier, you're not talking to me if you schedule a call to sign up. You're talking to one of my employees and one of my salespeople, right? Now, that could be a choking point up to a degree where now maybe somebody should talk to me. Now, where I would get in my own way is saying, well, I don't want to do that and just immediately shut that out instead of saying, well, maybe I could step in, at least in some cases, depending on what or who we're talking about here, right? I look at people and their daily efforts, especially as an agent or a salesperson, to make the calls and knock on the doors and just getting in their own damn way. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's crazy. Well, I already did my contacts. What do I do the rest of the day? Dude, make more. You're getting in your own way. Why would you stop at the minimum, that minimum standard? Right? Like anybody listening to this, right? Let's say you're a salesperson, you're an agent or whatever, and you've set a minimum standard for yourself to speak to a certain amount of people, right? If you look at your pipeline right now and it's not jam packed and you're not always going on appointments or doing things, I don't care if you've hit your numbers for the day in regards to the effort level of like talking to people. If you don't have anything else going on, you don't have any pending deals, and your pipeline isn't just absolutely gushing with leads and opportunities, why wouldn't you keep going after that? That is 100% a you issue. Y-O-U. Why? Why wouldn't you do more? Again, we'll come up with, oh man, it's boring. It's not fun. Like we'll come up with all these things, but ultimately that's you getting in your own way. Because then now if you take that problem and you ask me or somebody else, you've just created a problem that you fooled yourself into thinking has an outside solution when it's just you getting in your own way. You see how we start compounding the issue now? We create the story or we listen to somebody say some other crap, right? And then well, it's that now. I've located what it is, and now you've put it outside of you, right? And now you're literally running around with your phone in your hand saying, "Where's my phone?" Dude, it's in your hand. It's in your hand. Now, this requires a level, because we're not going to do this completely, a level of detachment of your ego, right? And a transparency and honesty and realness with yourself. Because you got to let go, man, to be able to do this and say, man, I am getting in my own way. Shit, I could be a little bit more focused. I could be working harder. I could be going after these traits and reading more and working on my communication and all the things that you guys say that you want to do. You could be doing so much more instead of sitting there floating and scrolling through TikTok and all that nonsense, right? You could. So don't come to me or tell other people or share these memes about why it's so hard for you, and understand that you're getting in your own way. Like the person who wants to be an all-star in sales and real estate, but will not put in any effort, right? Will not go above and beyond their own personal development. I mean, again, I'm preaching to the choir here. You guys know the examples I'm going to give you. Okay, so let's go back. I'm a new agent. I'm new in real estate. Okay. You think I didn't have that same resistance? Oh, well, I'm not a people's person, and everybody tells me I'm not a people's person. Uh-oh, what am I going to do? I didn't worry about that because the person who I chose to instruct me, the office manager, the coaching that I got, I literally said, I will surrender everything else that I have internally and do exactly what they tell me, regardless of what it is. And that's what I did. Does that mean I wasn't met with temporary uncomfortable emotions and all that other stuff? No, but that was secondary to the task at hand. I got the hell out of my own way. Just like if I come and I give you some teachings and understandings around introvert, extrovert, and all that nonsense that people throw around. Well, if you're going to sit there and argue with me and argue why you should keep your limitation, well, shit, I'm out then, dude. I'm trying to help you, and you're over here arguing, which is what I did. I remember I did a video, and it's still doing well on YouTube. Introverts don't exist. Change my mind. Now, am I denying the existence of people having those definitions? No. But I attacked it from a standpoint of, man, like a lot of you are allowing these just definitions to cripple you because you assume these things and you label yourself, and then you trap yourself within the label. You're your own obstacle. Then people will go on these rants in the comment section defending their sickness. I'm like, dude, I'm trying to help you, and you're over here calling me the bad guy. I'm trying to give you the key to freedom here, which is you in your own mind. And you're here arguing an outside label and limitation that you're imposing on yourself. What the hell is going on? How am I the bad guy? What the hell is going on with the world? I mean, it's insane. Then you look at all these other things, right? I can't even point the finger at anything. We have technology now, which is our biggest tool and also our biggest detriment. Again, if you're not creating with your social media and your phone and you're spending a lot of time browsing or paying attention to the latest YouTube gossip, dude, that is your own fault. Yes, it's easy to get distracted. Yes, it's available to you. Yes, it's free. You're still in control, though, whether you want to admit it or not. Again, the quicker we come to this awareness and this realization and understanding, get out of here, right? Then we're good to go. From there, we can accept it. We can see what we need to do. The changes are made and life begins to shift. What you guys need is a better reference. You need to get around people like myself who exhibit this and understand this. That way you can see it in action, have conversations around it, witness it, see other people who exhibit these qualities, and you'll have a better understanding, right? And you'll have a material viewpoint and reference point to what this is like, to seeing someone and being around people who do not allow themselves to get in their own way. And when they are, they admit it and they get out of their own way and then they do what it is that they have to do. Like recently, right? I talked to somebody who after 3, 4, 5 days deliberation ended up signing up for my coaching, right? And initially it was, well, I can't decide between you and this person, right? We keep questioning. At the end, the root of the issue is, well, I'm comfortable and, some talk around money, but basically it was them admitting they're getting in their own way, but not in those words. And I said, you see, you're in your own way. And they're like, yeah, I just didn't want to say it. I'm like, exactly. And that's the principal issue that keeps you stuck where you're at, is what you just said. And I've set up my questions in this conversation in order for you to finally come to that conclusion so you can see it versus me just telling you. And then it finally fucking clicked. Now that person days later is coming back to me like, man, that conversation was cool. Thank you. Right. I signed up. I'm beginning to understand what you're talking about. Right. It took me a couple of days to kind of allow it to click, and that's fine. Right. These little seeds that get planted in you. But dude, had we not had that conversation and that individual didn't make that choice and that decision, wow, where would they be? How long would they have stayed in that pattern for? I don't know. So I'm glad I was able to come across that person and help them. And I have a million stories like this. But the cool thing is, a lot of people will get to a degree uncomfortable around me and what I bring to the table because this type of stuff gets exposed. You can't hide this type of stuff around me, right? So if you're not in a position where you've committed yourself, when you get around people like me, again, whether just on a personal level, a student level, professional level, it doesn't matter, right? You're not going to come around because that type of stuff is going to be exposed and you're not ready and committed to make that change yet, which if you haven't yet, cool, right? You're a free-willed human being. You can do whatever you want. So you'll steer clear of this camp because that shit's not going to fly here. But when you're ready, right? When you're ready, you make the decision. You join and you fix these things and you handle them. And then you carry yourself at a higher standard and you move through this world differently. And you wear these things proudly. Say, I am not in my own way. That's a mantra that I've adopted that many of you need to adopt. I am not, and I refuse to get in my own way. Because, dude, everything changes. Now, symptoms of problems evaporate. Now, people doing funny stuff around you stops. Now, you wasting time and doing mindless activities diminishes and virtually goes away. Small talk is eliminated, right? Procrastination out the window, lack of motivation out the window. All the stuff that you want to deal with just magically starts to disappear. That's what I love about these subjects and some of these teachings and some of these implementations is they just slice through the issues that people have and rip them out at the root while everyone else is dancing on the surface. I will reach down into the dirt and rip it out when you're ready. So start to identify, right, as we're wrapping up this episode, start to identify where are you getting in your own way if you're going to be real with yourself, right? Let's say, you're going to have a conversation with me. I'm not going to judge you or anything. And I'm like, hey, let's have a conversation about this. Where are you getting in your own way? And you start telling me. And then we start implementing things, right? What would that conversation look like? What would be some things that you think I would tell you? Where would we look first? What's the first, order on deck that we need to fulfill here, right? Which subject are you sweeping under the rug or hiding under the closet? Is it your self-love and self-care? Is it your finances? Is it your career? Is it your relationships? What is it? And let's handle it. Let's go. Let's see where you're getting in your own way. Is it somebody or someone or something toxic you won't let go of? Let it go. Is it a commitment that you need to make? A financial investment, right? Whatever it is, do it. Take the first step to start doing something about it in these categories that you need to work on. Because ultimately, it's you against yourself, right? Myself and someone else can help guide, shed light on something, guide you, right? Bring some awareness to something. But ultimately, you're the one that has to take the final step, first step and the final step, and make these choices and make these changes. Otherwise, nothing changes. And if nothing changes, nothing changes. And you stay the same. And then you slowly start to stagnate and you go backwards because there's no stagnant state in the universe. You're either growing or you're dying. So I'll leave you guys here. You and me for me, you for you, right? Biggest obstacle on the planet. We get in our own way. You get in the way of your own fulfillment, happiness, execution, career advancement. I mean, it's just insane when you really break it down. It's this simple. Now, does that mean it's easy, the subject matter? Of course not. It is simple, though. It is simple. Okay. That's it for this one, guys. I appreciate you listening in and tuning in. We'll see you on the next one. All right. Peace.